version of themselves. Having her identity tied to one person most of her life, to that now of an independent free thinker with fearless confidence, motivates her to inspire and transform others to do the same. Through coaching, speaking, training, she's empowering others to find their purpose and live it every day in order to become the best version of themselves, living a high-performance lifestyle. Woo!
It is March 19, 1991. It is March 19, 1991. I am 16 and a half years old. Without notice, he collapsed and drew his last breath in our home. I just lost the love of my life. The first man I ever loved. The first man who loved me. My father just died of a heart attack. September 1992, 18 months later, just a few months shy of my 18th birthday, I fell in love again with another man. July 5th, 1997, I graduated pharmacy school and I married that man. November 2013, 21 years later, that man walked out of my life and took the only identity I knew with him. Each time I had a loss of a significant man in my life, I lost my identity too. I had no idea who I was. It was always attached to another being. My existence was dependent on him holding me up emotionally. I was like a leech. I needed someone to latch onto, to define me, to give me permission to be. For me, it felt like the trauma of losing my husband, my father, all over again. Except this time, I was the mother of 3 children who needed me to be their emotional rock. I don't know how I got through it because at that time, I had some attachment to my real solid rock, not to the one that I perceived to be my rock. I'm referring to my spiritual connection with my Creator. My children were my dream come true. They were what I believed was my purpose, up until a few years ago. And little did I know that I had layers of toxic behavior patterns and negative ingrained beliefs, which manifested through negative self-talk and self-hate. For the past 3.5 years, I've immersed myself in creating and molding and sculpting my identity, heavily invested in personal development, through a foundation of self-love, kindness, compassion, honor, and dignity. Creating my identity, I was going through a rebirth, a spiritual and emotional rebirth of myself, my identity. And as I was preparing this talk to share with you all, I realized that identity has the word I in it. And in order to give love and receive love, you have to love and accept yourself first. My husband was one of the best gifts I was gifted. He was exactly what I needed and who I needed when I needed it. You see, after my father died, I was searching for another man to fill that void for me. Any man to validate me, to dignify me, to make me feel like I mattered, that I was good enough, important enough for somebody to love and value unconditionally. I was on a path of self-destruction. any man that gave me the slightest bit of attention, I lost my senses for. And this was a divine intervention. Because the grief, pain, and darkness from the loss of a parent propelled me to the man I was gifted. To a man who came into my life to take care of me. I relied on him to fulfill all my needs, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. He grounded me to stay focused and on the path of success. I was headed down a path of self-sabotage, just to get noticed, to feel like I mattered, to know that I was someone important in this world. My marriage and my husband both protected and saved me from myself during that time in my life. That was a divine gift that I will always be immensely grateful for. After 17 years in my marriage, I found myself dishonoring and compromising my values. I was willing to sell my soul to stay attached, safe, and secure in my marriage. My divorce was also another divine gift that once again saved me from myself. You see, I realized that no body, no one human being can fulfill all your needs. And when I realized that I was worshiping the gift rather than the gifter, it altered my path and set me on a trajectory to reach and express my greatest potential. You can be your authentic true self. The world needs you to show up. Your true self. Not someone else, but your true self. On this newfound path, I found what I was searching for since my early teens. I found the unending source directly inside of me. I found the direct link inside of me. And I know that it's hard to be your true self. Don't be afraid of that pain. To show up as yourself. The negative self-talk of, I'm not blank enough, good enough, smart enough, savvy enough, intelligent enough, athletic enough. You have to feel, release, and express the pain to get to the other side of your greatness. Don't escape or avoid by getting busy like society tells you to, or numb the pain with alcohol, drugs, sex, or any other destructive behavior. Otherwise, it'll spread and grow like a cancer of self-hate inside of you. You can't will yourself out of a heartache. You have to go through it. You can be who you want to be right now. After my father died, I was searching for my identity, and I kept looking outward for someone else to show me, guide me, to fill it for me. And what I realized is that identity has the word I in it. Identity is inherent and intrinsic with your values and your morals and your beliefs. Identity isn't in your clique or in the next selfie that you post. These things, they don't shape our identity. They actually take away from being your authentic self. And you will keep facing the struggles, packaged different ways until the lesson is learned. That's another thing I realized, that trials and tribulations would keep coming into my life in excruciating ways until I learned the lesson I needed to. So I invite you to ask yourself, what is the lesson I need to learn in my struggle? And you may ask, well, how can you do this? Allow me to share some ideas with you. Number one, learn to love to be alone with yourself, without your phone or digital device. Do a regular, scheduled digital detox. We are bombarded with messaging every single day. Everyone has their own agenda. Figure out what yours is first. Spend time alone in nature, pondering, journaling your thoughts, your ideas, your hopes, your fears, your pains, your dreams. As you quiet your mind, your natural intuition and your inner wisdom, your GPS can steer you properly. Number two, don't be afraid to speak up, speak out, and express your voice. Your authentic, unapologetically you voice, separate from your peers. Number three, be true to yourself. Don't worry about what everyone else is doing or saying. Number four, don't hide and stay at the surface level. Have real, raw, vulnerable conversations with your family and your friends. Number five, start small, take baby steps in your safe spaces. And then work your way outward into uncharted terrain, ultimately to be living at the edge of the cliff, risking it all for maximum reward by expressing your full potential. Number six, get comfortable being uncomfortable. Train and condition your mind to seek it out, knowing that that is where the growth lies. We've been deceived by society telling us to be comfortable. It doesn't serve you. It keeps you stuck and stagnant. Number seven, don't be afraid of the pain. Get the support you need to care for your emotional health. Number eight, last but definitely not least, have a daily gratitude practice, like a gratitude journal. And with this, I am empowering you. I am telling you that you don't need permission. But if you think that you do, I am granting it to you now. Here it is, permission granted. You no longer need to look out for your source. It took me over 25 years to transform, to find my own truth, to find my identity, to find my own power. I am inviting you into that, into your own truth now. I invite you to permit yourself. It's time now. Not in 10 or 20 years, after a marriage or two, or kids, or any other life-altering event. Yes, life will continue to go on, but now you will be on your own journey. Not going through the day, going through the motions day in, day out, with what everyone else expects of you. But living life with intention, strategically, working toward expressing your full potential. is the purest form of being fully alive, of living with joy and happiness. Knowing that you have what it takes inside of you already. You have a natural GPS that will guide you through your life. How would that change the rest of your days as you go through high school, through life, your year? You don't even have to believe me. I am telling you that you are connected to your unending source. I am the blueprint for that. I am showing you that I am. And I am the ambassador of this message because there is a wave of transformation happening right now in our world. And that includes you, if you choose. You can get the message now or in 10, 20 years, but I am inviting you into it now. You have so much potential inside of you. Don't allow it to be unexpressed or untapped, or it will drive an ache in your soul. But if you cultivate it and express it and strive toward it, you will be on fire. Remember, the world needs you to show up. You matter, and it's not cliche, because you were designed and created to change the world. Will you do it? Thank you.